another South Texas soaper. And so I think it was a couple of days ago, I just did a men's goat milk shave soap with some beer, and we did it with the Old Spice. So here's the label. Where's the label? The label. There she is. It didn't quite a more stable lather. I don't know how else to word it. I just felt this was really creamy and it was lovely. It felt lovely. But I just feel like I want it to be the lather to be a little more fluffy and a little more stable. I don't know how else to word it. So I've taken the exact same recipe and I've tweaked my butters and oils in the recipe. So they all have the same oils and butters, but I've increased the butters. I've also increased my water percentage. So we worked with like a 38% water for the recipe. I'm working more towards 40 to 42% water. All of the water is beer. We're using our Texas Crafted Shiner Bock. So it takes about a day or two to get the beer flat. You want to open it up, pour it into a container, and just shaky. I've got mine in my trusty mason jar. You can put it in a bowl and whisk it, and just do that several times throughout the day. And then you can either, once it's flat, either freeze it into ice cubes. I find that it takes a little bit longer to get the lye to melt and incorporate properly when you do it that way. One way people do that is to keep the sugars in the beer from burning. I've had this in overnight and everything. It's 49 degrees, so it's actually cold enough that if I add my lyes to it very slowly, I don't burn the sugars, which can discolor the beer and stuff and your soap. So what else did I do different? I don't know that I'm going to do it to this recipe, but the xanthan gum is very messy to work with as an additive. It doesn't matter how I try to mix it warm or cold. I always get clumping, so there's a lot of waste. And you have to strain it, and it becomes like this. You have to add probably 3 times as much water to it, up to 4 times, to make sure you get some kind of nice gel that will incorporate in your soap and not leave. You don't want to put that in your soap. You don't want to put clumpy bits in. So I'm going to try it out this time without that, and then I'm going to do the recipe I did before, depending on how this one comes out, with that as an additive, if that makes sense. I'm going to try some. So we're working with apricot kernel oil, avocado oil, castor oil, organic cocoa butter, our organic kokum butter. We've got our manteca, which is pig tallow lard. We have our organic shea butter, stearic acid, and our organic grass-fed beef tallow. That's the base in no particular order. And then our additives after the cook are, we're going to add sea salt and organic cane sugar to our lye water, which will have the beer. And then after the cook, we're going to add 10% glycerin. We're adding some fresh aloe vera gel that we've made and strained. And we're adding apple cider vinegar with the mother raw. We're adding our goat milk and our grass-fed yogurt plain. Then we're going to add our lanolin, our organic lanolin oil, our apricot oil, our hemp oil, and our avocado oil, and our agave, along with our slippery elm bark powder, marshmallow root powder, and our silk aminos as additives, all adding slip, glide, lather, creaminess. It's going to be very luxurious is what it's going to be. So we're going to get to it. All right, so we've got our safety gear on. And what I have here is just a pot with some simmering water. You want to keep your milk and your yogurt slightly warmed, because when you add your additives, you want them to be warm. I had to warm up my fragrance oil, which is Teakwood. Teakwood is the one that I use from Bulk Apothecary. I haven't found anything else that smells like this. I know it's on the high end. It's probably one of our most expensive fragrances, but our customers love it, so we keep getting it. I love it too. It smells awesome. So we've got our Slippery Elm in here, which is by Eco Taste. You can find that on Amazon. I don't remember which company I got this from. Looks like Crafter's Choice. Marshmallow root powder. This is a good brand of hemp oil you can find on Amazon for a good price versus the supermarkets. This is actually better pricing on Amazon than my suppliers. And we've got our apricot kernel oil by Crafter's Choice, Silk Aminos. We've got our avocado oil, and we've got our lanolin by Green Beauty oil. That one, I believe ours is organic and grass-fed as well. The cocoa by Crafter's Choice. Put this in. You want to put your additives in the simmering water as well. They infuse. I've already taken about a half an hour to get that started. Here is our organic grass-fed beef tallow. It is a nice, I don't know if you can tell, it's a nice, beautiful, creamy yellow. They do sell organic beef tallow, and it'll be whiter. The yellow is because we fed off of the grass versus the organic grains, and you get a little bit better, I feel, essential fatty acid profile. And the price was actually better, so that was a win-win all around. All right, so we're gonna pour in. Got our measuring here. We're gonna measure out our beer. Let's do this. Making too much of a mess. Too much. Too much. Not enough. There's got to be a happy medium. Okay, we're gonna go with that. Let's see. Get this back. You can use any yogurt you like. We live really close to natural grocers, and we get the Grazier's grass-fed plain yogurt. I really love that one. That one's the whole cream, and you get to. Okay, let me grab this. Right. Hot. All right. Set that off here to the side. It's a little hot, about 177. I want it to cool down a little bit. So we're going to be adding 2 types of lye. We're adding our sodium hydroxide, which is our NaOH, makes bar soaps. And then we're adding our potassium hydroxide, which is KOH. This makes liquid soaps. When you combine them in different ratios, you get a shave soap it makes it easier to load and lather your bar. I don't know how else to explain that. It just makes kind of like a combination of the two. So we're going to add our potassium. I'm reading that wrong one. The one that makes liquid soaps. I add that one first because it tends to bubble the most. So I'm going to add it really slowly. This is a small batch, so it shouldn't bubble up. I have enough room. Whatever container you're using, make sure there's enough room in case it bubbles up, because sometimes it can. The colder your liquid, the better. Hear that crackle. Oh, I need just a little bit more, tiny bit. That off to the side. Use either silicone or 100% stainless steel glass and plastic. So far that's nice and cold. It's not bubbling up. We're doing pretty good here. I've already pre-melted my sea salt and cane sugar. So we're gonna mix in the lye next. Tar out to 0. Wash my hands. And I just stir this in really slowly. So I've already got my oils and my butters in my small crock pot. I contemplated doing an even smaller batch with a smaller crock pot, but it gets harder to measure out the ingredients, and I want to make sure I'm measuring them out properly, have good consistent results. So I'm actually doing an 8-ounce recipe, which makes at least 3 4-ounce tins and probably a couple of 3-ounce tins. I think my batch weight says 12.81 ounces. So for an 8-ounce oil weight, we're going to get 12 ounces of shave soap. Just checking the heat on that. We're at 150. I'm checking the heat on my oils and butters, which is a little hotter than I wanted on that. Just put those off to the side. Maybe the towel will help absorb some of my heat. Definitely want this down under 150. You do have to get it hot enough to melt your stearic acid, because stearic acid has a very high melting point, and that's really, I think I'd have to look, like 180, I think, is stearic acid melting point. Don't quote me on that. So we're just going to try and bring the temperature down by keeping that out of the crock pot. I do have it on low back here in case I need to add it back on for the heat. Make sure my water is back on simmer. Stirring does help it cool off a little bit faster, even though it's a small batch. I think that'll help it release the heat faster. Go grab one thing I'm missing. I've already heated up some water to test out our shave soap with our 100% badger hair brush. So I'm just going to put it in here to get hydrated and warm. It's always best to test out your shave soaps with a nice hot warm shave brush. Here we go. Let's see where we're at. Almost there. I hope everybody had a happy Halloween. We just enjoyed our backyard and the moonlight and our puppy and the gardens. Can't remember what we watched. We've been watching some Halloween movies this past week and some things on Netflix. What was it? House on Haunted Hill, and I think it was The Haunting of Bly Manor. They were both really good. I liked The Haunting on House Hill, I like that one a little bit better. It was a little bit easier for me to follow. There was a lot of changes in the storyline in Bly Manor, and it was hard. The same director, and they had a lot of the same actors and actresses in it, which is why we watched both of them. I thought that would be interesting. Had some different perspectives on haunting and all that. So I also have some rubbing alcohol on hand. This is 71%. I do prefer the 90%. Difficult to find right now during the pandemic, so we're working with what we got. That will help loosen up the recipe. If it gets too hard, the butters tend to harden up a shave soap recipe, and so does stearic acid. And I'll try to show you as I add the lye water. This will turn from hot, melty butters and oils into like this sloshiness. So I'm gonna add my sea salt and my sugar to my lye water. I'm pretty sure it's cooled off enough that it's not gonna burn. Yeah, it just jumped up about 7 degrees because I added the sugar. Okay, I think I've got it. Do I have another one? I guess I'll put this one in here, and I'm gonna switch this out so I can use it for this. I'm not gonna use my stick blender. It doesn't really work in this small batch, so hopefully I'll get you guys in close and show you what's going on. Pretty much instantly turned to goo. Can you see? So I'm just gonna stir that as it cooks. We're looking for applesauce, and then mashed potato, and then like a Vaseline kind of stage for the cook. So it's about 4 o'clock. This should go pretty quickly, within about a half hour to get this fully cooked. Or at about 160. I also have some pH test strips to check our pH to make sure that we are neutral and that we're cooking the soap. Since it's a hot process, you want to make sure your soap is at least neutral or below neutral. Some of the things that help lower the pH, and I know there's some contrary to this out there. Don't hate on me, but vinegar, apple cider vinegar, I have found does help lower the pH. Citric acid helps lower your pH. And that's always a good quality measure to test every batch, because you don't want to give a bar of soap that is lye heavy or sometimes a little bit to anybody. So far, it's still pretty fluid. We're going to be adding, I added extra liquid, like I said from the beginning, with the beer. So try and keep this as fluid as possible so that I can pour it into the tin and not have, and I think I found it's because the stearic acid didn't get, it's hard to mix in the stearic acid as it saponifies if it's not enough liquid and smooth enough. So we're trying to make sure, and normally it would probably be a little bit easier to use your stick blender and get it fully incorporated, but I don't think that's really going to, I'm going to stick it in here and it's going to zip, 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 and it's just going to stick, and it's not going to really blend it like I want to. So we're doing it again the old-fashioned way. My temperature is dropping around 143, 145. I'm right-handed, sorry. So I'm trying to whip this up. It could be a lefty today. Getting more mashed potato-y. Just gonna scrape all my sides and try to make sure this is all getting incorporated evenly. Kind of like running mashed potatoes right now. Some people, I think, have said, and I'm not remember sure which soaper it was, I think rubbing alcohol can help possibly lower the pH, but I'm not so sure about that myself. It does loosen up your mixtures and thin them out a little bit if they're too clumpy, so it makes it a little bit easier to work with. Check my temperatures. Dropping around 130. I might have to heat this back up again. So I'm gonna pop it in this one more time and just make sure it stays on low around the 130 mark and finish just cooking this. You can put the cover on to help it not dry out so much, but you can also try to use some plastic wrap. That's what I'm going to do today. Use a little bit of plastic wrap and just let it cook a little bit more. Rinse this out. So I'm just heating up some distilled water so that I can check my soap batter and check my pH on it. feel like it dried out a little too much last time to get it smooth. I'm trying to hold in all that moisture. Maybe a few more minutes. That should be done. It's looking like it's getting there. Or temperatures dropped down to 125. So what else is going on? Not much. Just doing some fall cleanup around here and getting the gardens looking good. We started our seeds again because the birds ate them. They ate about half our seedlings, so we've got some protective measures out there, and probably in about a month, things will be grown up enough to do like a garden tour. So I try to do spring and fall garden tours here. We're in Zone 9B, if anybody cares to know. We're way south Texas, down in Corpus Christi. We are a mile from the beach and the ocean, and it's really beautiful. We have a beautiful breeze every day, most days pretty much, and the garden's very tropical. We've got ice cream banana trees and fruit trees, citrus trees, and it's a small urban property, and we have it set up like a little urban farm. So whatever we grow fresh, we eat and sell extra locally here from the house. And then we do all the bath and body stuff from the house, and we sell it on Etsy. And some locals will, purchase, and we'll deliver. We're delivering. Since the pandemic, we started doing more deliveries. People used to come by and pick up, but it's been a little bit more convenient for us to, as we're out and about doing our thing, to make some deliveries, which is nice because it's nice to get out, go for a ride. Sometimes I'm at the house a lot or be with things. So we're looking a little bit shiny, which is probably closer to the clean state. In my hot water here, trying to dissolve some of it. You could do the Zap Test. I don't really care to do that too often. What it is you can actually take the soap and taste it with your tongue, and if it zaps you like a battery, it's not done cooking. If it just tastes like soap, then it's soap and it's ready. So we're gonna dip it in. We're in between the 7 and 8. It's going to keep cooking, so it's actually neutral. It's ready to add our additives. So I'm going to add, what am I adding first? It always works better to add the milk first. I'm going to add my milk and yogurt first. Make sure I get that all incorporated really good. So you can see it's shiny, Vaseline stage. That extra percentage of water or beer really helped out a lot. So I think I'm going to continue to do that in the next batches. I think I was looking back over my notes, and if you've seen Kevin Devine on YouTube, he's another soap maker. He has some great playlists about sheep soaps. And one of them was about increasing the percentage of water. And I was like, yeah, why didn't I think of that? because I needed someone else to remind me, or I watched one of his, a couple of his videos again. I was like, that's right, I did do that. Let me check my notes again. And yep, it was something I overlooked. Trying to get this to be a much smoother batch. Now that does mean it will take longer to cure, but we got time. So here we go. Just get this all mixed in really good. And if you cook it a little longer too, if it's too wet, you can cook it a little bit longer and cook out the extra moisture. Oh, this is so much nicer. Ooh, I love it. Okay. I still need to add my fragrance oil and all the other additives as well. So we've got our aloe and our slippery elm. So I kept wondering why the soap was so dark the other day, and I knew that it's a fairly dark beer, but I've made it before and it wasn't that dark. So it's the slippery elm that actually darkened up the soap, which makes it a beautiful kind of creamy tan. So there's no additive colors or micas or anything like that in here. I don't have any clays going on in here either. Tan. It's hot in here. I did open the window. Okay, we're still under 130. We're at like 120. I'm just gonna cover that up and let it cook probably for about 5 more minutes. That's off, and then I can pour it in. This in the sink. Sink. A few more minutes. I guess maybe I could add the xanthan gum. I don't know. So I'm gonna try a little bit in the bowl and just see how it like whips up. I'm kind of curious. I know it's pretty much done. So we've got our brush, it's wet. And here's our soap. I'm gonna add a little bit more soap. go. Just adding a touch more water as I go. And then I guess that'll tell me whether or not I really want to add the xanthan gum or not. Take this glove off so I can feel it. Now, the other one I did the other day was very like meringue. I guess that's what I was looking for the other day. And I was looking not for a harder, not a harder, got something else on my mind, not a harder shave soap, but something that would be stable, where it doesn't droop down off of, where it's not melting off of this. And I felt like it was melting off the other day. I wanted a more stable meringue shave cream, and this is closer to what I normally make with our other Everyday Men's shave soap, where it's not dripping off, not falling off, it's not. Okay, so anywho, this feels really, really nice, y'all. That's all I'm gonna say. That's really, really nice. So you're a guy, you're doing your face. It lathers, it layers, it builds. It's nice and thick and creamy and moisturized and luxurious. I really like it. I think this is awesome. I think this is the recipe. I'm always tweaking stuff, but I always feel like I can do better, and I feel like this is a better formulated, stable recipe. So it's got really good. I mean, it's super slippery. I mean, I don't even know if I want to add the xanthan gum to make it more gooey. I'm wondering. I could add a little bit of it and see, but honestly, it's really nice. I don't know if I want to add it. Let's add it and see if it changes at all. Play with my shave cream here. Side. Rinse it off. Different bowls. You don't think I'm tricking you. So I got a black bowl. Here's the xanthan gum. Ooh. I mean, we still have time to add more stuff, so it works. I'm pretty satisfied with how it came out. My hand is wet. I don't want to drip in there. Oh, of course. I did a dunkaroo on that one. Really don't like working with this. In fact, I'm gonna stick blend it to make sure it's mixed in good. I don't trust it. It's too goopy. Well, this one's giving me more time to play with it, that's for sure. That's exciting. Let's get my shave soaps. So we've got our bowl, we've got our xanthan gum added. Got my soap in here. We've got our clean brush. Add just a little bit more water. And our soap. Now this is going to soap up and lather probably a little more different once it's like fully cured. Add a bit of water. A little bit of water. Ooh. I'm just dipping in the water. I'm not adding a ton. I don't want to add too much water. So, well, it definitely feels even more slippery. I mean, it's not going anywhere. So our meringue is good. You know, it's not, it's going to hang out there till you put it on and lather it up and build up on it. This is really, really nice. Okay, well, can't say I'm not happy about adding it. I think it's worth it. Definitely an extra step. Look at that. You can make meringue on your face. Okay, anyway, I'm having way too much fun here. Oh, this is really good. Look at it. If you can see the shine on it from the lanolin, this is extremely hydrating. It smells really, really good. I'm going to pour it into my tins and stop playing around. It's probably looking like it's cooked down a little bit. So much cream. I can't even get it off, y'all. I have to scrape it off. Really nice. Yes to the xanthan gum. We definitely have to say yes. That's a yes. I'm going to add it. I like it. I thought it would be weird, but it's not. Alrighty. Tins. Oh, plug that in. That would help. So hopefully this will give it a much smoother look in the tin. It's gonna set up for sure. I know it. So I'm gonna need that hot. Ooh, hot. Really hot. One. Two. So I count Sesame Street. Nope, that goes there. I don't have enough for another tin. Oh, I guess maybe I could have put one more tin. Wasn't sure. Oh. Alright, that looks good. Let these cool off over here and let them set up. So I know as those cool down, they're going to harden. It's already starting to harden on that. Shut that off. Crazy. Messy. Alright, so I think that's pretty good. This was, just to show you guys again, this was the one without the xanthan gum. And it's very, it has a lot of good slip to it. It has a really good meringue. This feels even slicker. I don't know if you can tell what I'm doing. This is the second one with the xanthan gum, feels even. This feels fabulous. This feels even more fabulous. That's all I can say about the difference. So I'm pretty impressed with it. Makes for a good comparison to know why it was added, the differences of it being added, and just how I definitely feel like it feels different adding the xanthan gum. I feel like it's even more luxurious, more smooth, more slip, just coats. I don't know. It's like almost feels like it's. I don't know how to describe the words. Help me out in the comments below. But thanks for hanging out with me today. At all on your soaping adventures. I hope so. I'm not giving out the recipe. It is mine that I've been tweaking and working on. But I do wish everybody much success. There's some really good. I think I've done some other videos where I show you different books that are helpful. There's different blogs. And it just comes down to testing it out yourself and trying out recipes and understanding their fatty acid profiles and all that jibber jabber stuff. So we'll see you next time in the next video. I'm not sure what I'm going to be doing next because I like this recipe better than the first one that I did the other day, a couple of days ago. I think this is the one that's going in the books. So we'll see y'all next time. Thanks for hanging out with me.